came around to say hello. One, I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you, it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
What kind of a deal is America working on? Because you know the sticking points when it comes to nuclear rights. Is there going to be any forward movement in these talks? What is America planning to offer?
I think they're offering a cessation of the war, potential removal or reduction of sanctions and cash for a permanent end to the nuclear threat, but a permanent end, not the JCPOA type of permanent end, one that's fully verifiable, giving up all nuclear material, never doing it again. I think the missile threat for sure has to be addressed. I mean, if Iran could continue to just rebuild missiles and drones and attack its neighbors, Arab countries and Israel, that's not going to work. I don't think we'll ever be able to get a deal that fully buttons that down. It's just too easy to build missiles. It's certainly too easy and extremely cheap to build drones, but I still think we have to do the very best we could do on that. And I think some sort of way to make sure that the Strait of Hormuz is never held captive again by the Iranian regime.
All right. One last question to you, Mr. Greenblatt. Are we at a point of no return? Is there no going back from here? And, everyone, of course, is hoping that there is a breakthrough, that there's peace that prevails and everything can go back to normal. Iran says the Strait of Hormuz, at least, will never go back to the pre-war status. There'll be no normalization when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz. So in that case, are we looking at a prolonged war?
If Iran doesn't, well, I don't know that it takes a prolonged war to reopen the strait. It's certainly a very complex mission. But I think that's, again, to go back to your question about India, and I would bring Europe into this. If the world wants the Strait of Hormuz open, and if the world wants free waterways all over the world, not just the Strait of Hormuz, not making sure that this is done, not making sure that the strait remains open, is a big problem for the world. So Iran could say what it wants. I highly doubt President Trump will let this remain a problem. But I also think that countries that don't stand with President Trump as he tries to open the strait are going to have a problem down the road, because he believes firmly that the problem with the strait is much less an American problem and much more of a problem for other countries.
Okay, let me pack in one more question before I let you go. So this war started between US, Israel and Iran. It has reached directly or indirectly everyone else's doorstep. But are you saying, as far as Strait of Hormuz is concerned, the onus is on countries that rely on it the most and not US and Israel and Iran, of course?
Well, the U.S. is actually doing things. They're not going to do it. The U.S. may not want to do it by itself, but the U.S. is the one that at the moment is trying to keep the strait open. If the other countries don't want to be responsible and stand up and open the strait together with President Trump, we'll see what happens. I think he's angry about that. I think there will be consequences for countries, especially within Europe, who depend on it the most, for not helping. But it's hard to predict that at the moment.
Okay.